you've got to throw a lock of Awsten Knight's hair in there because that's Awsten, right? That's what he'd want in a museum, right?
That came unsolicited. I talked to Awsten and said, hey,
Hey guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Rock Sound. We're at the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas. Hopeless Records have just opened their 30th anniversary exhibit. Here to tell us all about it, one of the heads of the company, Ian, joins me now. How you doing, Ian?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No, good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. Really, really exciting exhibit, first of all. Like, such an amazing mix of artifacts from the kind of past and the present of Hopeless. Tell me just a little bit about developing this, putting it together, getting those things ready for an exhibit like this.
Oh, geez. It was about 2 years ago we came here and met with the people at the Punk Rock Museum to start to figure out what could this even be, and we looked to them because we were like, wow, who's doing it in our world that's looking at the history and presenting it in this really interesting way. And so this place was a really big inspiration for us. So we came up here a while ago and toured and got some ideas, and then we spent about 3 or 4 months just collecting stuff from bands, going through our archives. I wish I could say it was more organized than it was, but it took a really long time. We found tons of stuff that we never thought even existed or we still had. And then from there, we went about curating it. So just trying to contextualize the history. We broke it up into eras. So there's, 6 different eras from the founding all the way until today. Over 1,000 items from just about every band we've ever worked with, which is, at this point, almost 200.
Yeah, it's so nice as well just to see the kind of personalities coming through there as well, because obviously you've got great things like there's an Avenged Sevenfold guitar in there, there's various awards and all those kind of, plenty of Rock Sound covers, which we like to see.
Absolutely.
But also even just you've got to throw a lock of Awsten Knight's hair in there because that's Awsten, right? That's what he'd want in a museum, right?
That came unsolicited. I talked to Awsten and said, hey, what could you do for us here? You want to be a part of this? And he sent us a guitar, he sent us all sorts of great stuff, and in there was a little lock of his hair from the fandom era, the green hair.
Absolutely. A great era and a great bit of hair right there. Very, very distinctive. It's all good. Let's talk a bit generally, of course, about celebrating this 30th anniversary, because it is, what an achievement. What a great moment to be able to take stock of kind of all the amazing moments you guys have had over the years. And there have been so many great bands that have come through there. I know it's impossible to pick, but I'm sure you guys have been thinking back on what were the highlights here, what were the things that you're kind of particularly proud of, I suppose, over these 30 years. Any particular moments stand out for you?
Oh, geez. Moments? God, we're proud that we're here.
Well, yeah, that's a start.
for one thing, Hopeless has been 30 years of one foot in front of the other, working with the right bands, trying to make things happen, and it's never been about, being this overnight success or any kind of fame or anything. It's just about serving this community. So it is tough to say what one moment or anything like that. It's been a slow process to to this point, but I would highlight the Wonder Year stuff in this exhibit. I think that's a really good full circle artist for us. There's a separate exhibit here for the Greatest Generation right now.
Yeah.
Hank the Pigeon was here all last night
yeah, I love that.
Taking pictures with people. There's a lyric book in the exhibit from Suburbia, which is really amazing. All sorts of personal writing from Dan and planning the record and lyrics that have changed and all sorts of amazing stuff. And the Wonder Years are the artists that's been with Hopeless the longest now, out of anybody, and they've really spanned, as you look at our exhibit, it spans all these different eras, and they really span most of it. They're in there from 2010, I think, when we started working with these guys, up until right now. I'll see them tomorrow. They're going to play the Greatest Generation. It's a big moment for us, and it's nice to see some records we put out, I put out, as a guy working in this business now being celebrated like this, for Hopeless to be a small part of that. It's the band's record, it's their achievement, but for us to get to be even involved is really amazing. So definitely check out the Wonder Year stuff. There's Dan was so giving with giving us lots of great items, and other stuff in there. The early years are incredible. All sorts of cool early days stuff. There's a mouse pad in there from we used to send to retail stores. With all the records on it. It's like Adam and his package and Dillinger 4 and all sorts of cool old school shit. We got Lewis's, our founder, his briefcase in the exhibit. It's a nice Gucci broken briefcase covered in punk rock stickers.
I love that.
He used to take it to all his meetings, so that's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, there's amazing things in there.
No, some amazing highlights in there as well. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's really nice to kind of celebrate the history and all that, because, Wonder Years are a great example. I speak to, younger bands all the time who are very, very much inspired by that album, but also even as they hit their own anniversary with that record, newer audiences keep coming to it, right? That's, I guess, the really, really lovely thing about having your hand with Hopeless Records in some really kind of classic records. That legacy lives on, right? Newer audiences are going to keep coming back to these songs.
Absolutely. That's our hope. And, one of our missions is to keep all of these records alive, regardless of when they came out. There's fans discovering the greatest generation right now that weren't around. They weren't in the community when that record came out. But, you can see from this museum here, there's lots of records that younger people are inspired by that they weren't even alive when these records came out. So for us, the museum, when we were young, things like this are really important to our community to keep these records alive.
Yeah, 100%. Well, speaking of that, we've got to mention the Covers Project as well, because that's just been really exciting. Artists that are on Hopeless Records roster right now, covering some of the classic songs of the past. Some amazing choices in there, some great ones that have come out so far. I want to particularly shout out our boy Noah Finns, representing the UK, doing a great job on that one. But that's got to be, again, just a really, really fun project to put together, and like we say, again, just celebrating that legacy, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We get to highlight new things. We get to make sure our new artists know about our older artists, and it was really amazing getting to talk to all of our new artists, talking to them about what songs they'd want to do, what artists inspired you, who were you a fan of, and we got some surprising things. I mean, Scene Queen's cover of "We Are the In Crowd," one of my favorites. "We Are the In Crowd," big band for me, and especially I think an artist that deserves to be more celebrated. You guys did a great job of celebrating "We Are the In Crowd." And I'm excited for them to play this weekend too. But that was a big cover for me.
Yeah, very, very cool to see how that one developed. Well, speaking of that as well, let's talk a little bit about the future here, because, we're obviously celebrating the whole legacy to this point, but you guys always have an eye on the future. I've been really interested to see the kind of mixing up of the roster over the last few years. Really interesting artists kind of been brought in there. How far ahead are you guys looking in terms of what you want to do next, where you want this to all progress for Hopeless?
Well, we're always looking towards the future, but we're really led by this community and by the artists. We're here to serve the artists, and we're here to serve the fans. So we're looking at where things are headed. We want to be a part of what's happening. That's why you see Hopeless doesn't sound like one thing necessarily. Our goal really is to sound like this community and to be here for everyone that's here right now. Who are the artists that they want to hear? What are the artists that mean things to people, that actually have a message, that actually want to build careers that are going to last for a long time? So that's kind of the common through line at this point for Hopeless. If you look at the exhibit, you'll see that first era is very much a specific sound, very much California punk rock, and that's how a lot of labels start. And for us, we've been fortunate to branch out and really, at this point, feel like we can represent all types of alternative culture.
Yeah, which is really exciting to see. Great to see us. I mean, it's a great roster at the minute. It's really, really cool. Loads
Thank
of our favourites on there. Ian, I'm going to let you go and enjoy this fantastic weekend here in Las Vegas. Lots of exciting stuff ahead. But congrats on the exhibit. Like I say, if you're in Las Vegas, go check it out. There's some really, really cool, interesting little artifacts in there. And yeah, we'll catch up soon. Best of luck with everything, all right?
Thanks for having me. I can't say enough good things about Rock Sound and your support for us over the years. Couldn't have done this without you.
We appreciate you, buddy. All right, Ian, everybody.